Without any further ado, I want to introduce all of you to Shari Schoohs, and she has some awesome information to share with everyone. So welcome.
Thank you. Share my screen quick. So good morning, y'all. It's so nice to be here with you. My little kitty decided to join us after all. Say hi, Mystique. I'm here to talk a little bit about supporting your sales in college, and I'm so excited to share with you. I'll first just tell you a little bit about me. My name is Shari Schoohs, she, her pronouns. I was a first-generation low-income student, and I have 2 degrees, a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in student affairs. And I've been an advisor at 3 different campuses, so I know a lot. I like to joke that I know a little bit about a lot of things, and I'm really excited to share that with you today. I first just want to talk a little bit about the transition to college and just kind of what it looks like. So everybody goes through it, and there's a lot of things that are going to be new. You'll have newfound freedom and independence, and you'll be kind of finding your way. And I use this PowerPoint slides to kind of show that it won't be this like straight trajectory you think it'll be, but it will be an awesome one. So you'll just want to give yourself time and really build up your social capital and your connections. And that's going to help you get things like scholarships and more information and resources. And you'll learn about yourself along the way, and you'll be able to lean on lots of supports that campus has to offer, like resources, advising, community, and just general involvement and experiences that you get to have. My favorite theory that I learned about in grad school was Schlossberg's transition theory. And it was all about the 4 S's of transition, which are situation, self, support, and strategies. Those are the resources, advising, community, and involvement that you're going to go through. So I'm so excited to get to share a little bit more about that with you. Starting with building your support network. So universities offer lots of resources for you to take advantage of, and I strongly encourage you, even before you're on campus, to be looking into what kind of financial aid, scholarships that they offer, how to go about finding those resources. And myself and Bear are going to share a little bit about some that UO offers today. There are lots of folks on campus who want to see you succeed. This comes back to advisors and lots of different campus offices that are just here to help you get what you need in college and make sure you really find success and the right major for you, the right career path for you, and just enjoy your time in college. This is a plug I always like to start early, is read your email. And I know that Laura and Megan were just talking about like sending emails, checking emails, reach out when you need help. Email is like the main mode of communication in adult life, and especially on college campuses. So super helpful to get in the habit now of reading your email. And then lastly, with building your support network, in a short amount of time, you will have like a support network. So my goal is to show you today that you're going to build all these different pieces to catch you when you stumble. So they will support you and kind of build a net beneath you. And these are some of the resources. I always like to say this is not a complete list. And UO, I'm just going to click this real quick and show you. So UO does have like a one-stop shop of resources. That's just a website filled with here's anything and everything that you could potentially need a link to, and who can support you in finding that. So I just did a brief overview that I'm going to walk you through real quick of some resources that are really important. One is the financial aid office. All campuses have an office that cover this. They can support you with things like FAFSA and scholarships, grants, which just mean free money, loans, which is money you have to pay back, different award packages and how that works based on your financial need. They do a lot of financial literacy, so better understanding the differences between grants and loans. What's your timeline for paying it back? What's a promissory note? How your refund works and how you get the money after your tuition has been paid, and just generally like what does it cost to attend college. Then you have more of your academic support offices. At University of Oregon, we have what we call the TAEC, and they do things like tutoring and study strategies, skill building, working on writing support, math learning, reading skill building, and then they also have academic peer coaches to support you both in specific subjects and just in general. Then we have our wellness areas. So this covers a lot of things, a very broad definition of wellness, where you can think about your physical health, like going to the doctor on campus, your mental health, like seeing a therapist or getting counseling or group counseling. It could be recreation, so staying active and really getting the benefits of physical activity, joining club sports, thinking about safety, how do you keep safe, and then things like food insecurity, like how do I make sure I have enough money to buy food, or where's the food pantry on campus that could give me support in that sense. A little bit about involvement. So we have student organizations. There's over 400 student orgs at the University of Oregon that you can get involved in. I like to joke that there's something for everyone. There's a really cool website that you can search those on. Thinking about internships. I really push for my students to get paid internships, but there also are some colleges on campus that if you get an unpaid internship will support you with a grant. You do have to apply, but you can get grant support so that you have money to live off of while you're working an unpaid internship. There's also part-time jobs that you can find on Handshake. You could join a sorority or fraternity, get involved in student government, and have more of a say in what happens on campus. You could study abroad, and our GEO office on campus can help you talk about what it looks like to fund a study abroad program. And there are varying lengths of study abroad programs that you could go on. If you don't want to disrupt your school timeline, you can go over a summer or over a winter. You can go for as short as 3 weeks or as long as a full year. So there's lots of different options. And then research, and we have 2 research programs on campus. One's an undergraduate for underrepresented students and underserved students getting involved in research, and another is for first generation low income students getting involved in research, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. There's lots of grants to fund your research and faculty that can mentor you in different research opportunities, which is just really awesome. And I'll just put a little plug. I, as a first gen low income student, was like, research, and needed to join a research lab for a course I was taking. And I ended up writing a chapter of a book with my research mentor, and it was really awesome and a great experience to have under my belt. So just a cool plug for research isn't just like pipettes and petri dishes. We actually studied social media and its effect on older adolescents. So it was really neat. And writing the book was also really fun. So next week for resources, I just brought up inclusion. So thinking about the different cultural centers we have on campus, there are lots of student-led groups that you can get involved in, and just kind of find where you feel included and find your community and find your support in that way. There's an accessibility office on campus, and there's another office that offers accommodations if you have any sort of documented disability or just want some extra support. And then we also have an LGBTQ plus center on campus, just places where you can go and feel safe and at home and get to really feel like you're who you are and who you want to be. And then lastly, just some other resources that are super helpful on campus. We have a lot of technology resources, thinking about, I couldn't afford a laptop, can I rent one? And other things like that. Housing and campus housing and resources for off-campus housing. We have a craft center, which is just really cool. And I even get to go there as a staff, and it's awesome. Transportation resources, such as like you get a free bus pass when you come to school, so you can ride the buses for free. And then we have a common reading program. So if you wanted to read a book, and this year it was actually written, the book for the common reading program was written by a faculty or a staff on campus, which is really neat. And it's getting turned into an HBO series. Like, whoa, can't wait to watch it now that I've read the book. So I talked really fast and I see the chat bubbles popping. I'll hit the chat at the end and answer all of your questions. So the next and one of the biggest pieces of support system that you'll get during your time on campus is advising. There will be so many different kinds of advisors with different expertise to share with you, to support you in being successful while you're on campus. They are like the biggest knowledge base that you could go to when you're like, what do I do about this? Find an advisor and they'll say, you go here or you do this. And they can give you like direction and guidance and answers. And I love being an advisor. It's awesome. One of the main categories of advising would be academic advising. They would share with you information about different majors, minors. They might be involved in different departments or colleges within the university. And they'll have expertise in their area that can help you pick courses and understand the requirements, such as like, what is core ed? How do I complete all my requirements? What will it take for me to graduate? How many credits do I need? So that's a lot of the things academic advisors can answer you. And we also have career advisors or career coaches. They're knowledgeable in different career fields, how to set career goals, what experiences you'll need to achieve those goals. They can also talk about cover letters, resumes, how to prep for an interview, how to get an internship, how to use Handshake, which is our job search platform. And then more of what I do currently in my role is more holistic or supplemental advising. So different campus programs are designed to support specific populations of students, to help ensure success for those students with financial support, extra advising, extra tutoring, et cetera. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But I just wanted to bring up some of these that I've talked about. The resources and the advising are also great ways for you to find community. This is one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou, that the ache for home lives in all of us, the safe place where we can go as we are and not be questioned. So I talked about some of those inclusion resources, some of those student orgs. There's so many places you'll get to find community and find your niche on campus. And it's really important that you do find that. And it can come in so many different forms and through different people. And one really great place that I specifically want to talk about to find that today is TRIO. So I mentioned at the beginning that I am a TRIO advisor. How many of you, and you can do like a hand raise or a reaction, have heard of TRIO before? Pulling up the chat so I can see this. Yay, okay, I'm seeing some me's, seeing some no's or ones. Totally fair. So TRIO is a federally funded program, and it happens in high schools, middle schools, and college level. There's lots of different programs under the TRIO umbrella. It started as 3 main programs, hence the word TRIO. Student support services, McNair, and Upward Bound. So for high school students, you might have heard, or even middle school students, you might have heard of Upward Bound. That's a TRIO program. The one I'm going to speak more on today is student support services. This is the office that I work in here at UO. We are a federally funded retention program, and our goal is to support students who are first generation, which means neither of your parents or guardians attended and have received a bachelor's degree, low income or income eligible, and then have a documented disability. And we're really designed to help those students get from the orientation process to graduation. We want to see you get that degree, and so you can secure that bag. And basically, that's what I'm here to talk a little bit more about today, in addition to all the other stuff I've already mentioned. And then another cool program that Bear will share a little bit more on is Pathway, and we'll come back to that later. And so one other thing I want to mention, UO also has a McNair Research Scholars Program. That's the other main TRIO program, and it's designed to help underserved and underrepresented students get involved in research, which I talked a little bit about, and go on to graduate programs. So if you were thinking, I might want to get my PhD someday, or I want to go to medical school, any of those things, it could help you with. So a little bit about how to be eligible for TRIO. You have to be first generation, so I mentioned that. So neither parent or guardian earned a bachelor's degree. They could have gone to school for a little bit and never actually fully received or finished their degree, and that would still count as first generation. You have to be income eligible, so meet low income qualifications, and those are all listed on our website, and I'll link the website in the chat. You can have a documented disability. So as verified by our Accessible Education Center here at UO, we usually just need some sort of documentation that says, I have ADHD, or I have a reading disability, I have depression, anxiety. The list is very long, and we can always chat more about what that looks like. So for the purple ones, you just need one of those 3 or a combination of those 3, but you only have to have one to be eligible for TRIO. And then you also have to be a US citizen or permanent resident, admitted or enrolled at UO, and then in need of support and willing to use that support to get your degree. So those are the orange ones you have to have, the purple ones you have to have one of. Okay, now for the cool parts. Why do I want to be in TRIO? So we work really hard in TRIO to focus on getting you like holistic advising. So I mentioned this before. This is my favorite part of it. We really focus to getting to know you so that we can know which resources will be most useful to you. We want to build a relationship with you. And like I mentioned, we get to work with you from orientation to graduation. So even if you choose your major, even if you, there's so many different things that could happen that could change your academic advisor, your career advisor. We never change. We're here for you from the beginning to the end. And we do things like grad planning and choosing majors and just overall trying to decrease your stress. So another benefit is academic support. So the university does offer some academic support through the TAEC that I mentioned earlier. If you're a part of TRIO, we offer additional academic support such as workshops for time management and study skill building. We have free tutoring for many of the gen ed requirements, and then writing and math skills support as well. We also offer financial assistance. So here's the big one: scholarships and grant aid. So for students who are involved in TRIO, students who are SSS participants, which is Student Support Services, we offer a TRIO specific grant called grant aid, which is free money that you don't have to pay back. All you have to do is be eligible for it by being a TRIO student and doing our application process. And we also offer some extra scholarships for our students to help get you to graduation. And we do some financial literacy, how to do budgeting, what the loans mean, how do I pay for grad school. And then also TRIO offers a safe space and referral. So I talked about that community. We are really big on that community and having a space where you can quietly study, where you can come and use our printer and you can print for free. You can write on the whiteboard or work through a problem, and we're there hanging out. There's always snacks in my office if you need a snack. Just like a cool place to come. And then we also do tons of referrals. So I mentioned before, like if you're not sure where to go, start with an advisor. You could start with me, and I'm happy to give you some sense of direction and point you in who can help you with what you have a question about. And then lastly, the best part is I mentioned that community. When you apply and get into TRIO, the best part is you instantly get a group of 360 students who can relate to you and are going through that same college transition that you are going through. So it's such an exciting time. Okay, I talked really fast and I said a lot of things. So I hope there are questions in the chat. I'm going to let Bear do his thing, and then at the end we can answer all of your questions. It was so nice to get to share with you all today.